Hello guys, I'll be talking about these two subjects and one more subject after this, but you will see it. Let's start with measurements in units. Before Swift 3.0, if you want to represent something, some kind of measurement, you would use primitive types, which, if you kind of Google it a bit, you would see that it's called primitive obsession, and it's considered a bad code smell. In Swift 3, we have a measurement API. This measurement API is basically a struct, which is a generic on unit type. Unit type is something that can represent some kind of measurement. Basically, it will have a base unit and dimension. So let's take a look at the unit type. Basic unit will be meters, and dimensions will be centimeter, meter, kilometer, feet, and everything else. So it's really nice addition to the foundation. What you need to use something like this, it's pretty trivial. You would initialize measurement with a certain value and with the unit type. In this case, let's start with the feet, and in another row, let's start with kilometers. They're basically the same representation. The funny thing is that you can use comparison and operation independent of the dimension of the same unit. So basically, if you do, let's say, addition, it will do it in a basic unit, which is a meter, which is really nice. Also, you have options for converting. So you don't have to think about it, you just need to specify it. This will convert in place, but you can also just do convert for print. And another thing that is nice, the new measurement formatter. It's something similar to NSNumber formatter, but it's not a subclass of this. You have, inside of this measurement formatter, you would have NSNumber formatter, which you can use to represent the measurements in a different notation. So this is really powerful stuff. Okay, let's go to iOS security. This is basic security, and I will only cover. So this is what you get from Apple basically for free. Okay, so we will cover each of these three topics in kind of a short manner. iOS platform security. So this is the things that you get from the Apple. Secure boot. Apple is using private and public keys to control each step of the boot process. This is really interesting because Apple is not using any third party for private and public keys. It's only Apple. So this will give you, it's pretty hard for an attacker to find a vector to kind of inject something in the boot process. Data protection. You all know that on each iPhone there is a hardware chip called Secure Enclave, which will do encryption of your data. This data will be encrypted if you're using the passcode. The interesting thing is that if somebody wants to crack or encrypt your files, they will be unable to kind of copy the data from the iPhone and then use stronger computers to kind of crash it. They will need to do it explicitly on the iPhone, which is kind of amazing. Also, if you enter the passcode more than 10 times, I think your phone will be locked and nobody will be able to unlock it. Another feature, sandboxing, you all know it. Each Apple lives in each specific container. And it's really hard for you to kind of interfere with other applications. And it also gives you a protection that some third-party app that you install will not be able to read or modify the data inside of your application container. And code signing, which people often overlook. So basically, if you have an application which has a third-party libraries, and you deploy this application to the App Store, each of these libraries will be code signed. So when you download something from the App Store, Apple iOS in this case will verify that each of these libraries that you're using has the same authentication as the ones that you provided when uploading the app. So it's really hard to kind of inject some third-party libraries to existing applications. Also, there is an interesting thing that if you look at on the internet, untethered jailbreak for the iPhone can be sold on the black market for up to $1 million. Because it's not so trivial. You cannot only use one exploit a weakness. In general, from the past jailbreaks, you need between 5 and 10 vulnerabilities to actually jailbreak the iPhone, which is pretty amazing if you compare it to the other platforms. Of course, this is not perfect, and this is kind of a process, but I think they're doing a good job. Touch ID. You should all use this. Because, I mean, come on, if you have to enter your 6-digit passcode every time you want to open your phone, it's annoying. With passcode, you can do it like instantly. The funny thing is that passcode will contact the secure enclave via encrypted link. So this will be kind of private. And also, no other application will have access to the data inside of the secure enclave. So it's kind of separated from the whole system. You should read it more on the internet. It's kind of a complex topic, but it's really interesting. Users upgrading their software. This is one of the also nice things that if you generally look at the iOS platform, most of the users will have the latest version of the OS. This is a good thing because usually all the vulnerabilities will be fixed in the latest version. So you can have a certain amount of security that all of your users will have the latest patch, updates, and everything. If you compare it to the other platforms, the numbers are completely different. So, good thing. And then we come to the thing that we as developers are kind of responsible for. First thing that Apple introduced in 2015, App Transport Security, which should be mandatory by the end of 2016. So if you don't have it, your app will be rejected from the App Store. Basically, it's a mechanism for end-to-end encryption between your phone and the remote backend. The thing that we as developers should be kind of really careful about is the usage of third-party libraries, because they can undermine security. So you need to be aware if you put something in your code, what it will do, is it secure, is it maintained, is it updated, and you should react immediately. If you all remember, there was a case with one really famous networking library. I will not say the name now, that has an issue that had an issue with TLS security. The issue was fixed immediately, but around 25,000 users on the App Store were affected by this, and they didn't kind of quickly resubmit the app. So yeah. Okay. To another talk. Our colleague Michael is not here, so I will give a presentation for him. So, advanced testing. This talk is not so interesting to me, but from what I watched, basically they speed up the whole process of testing. They fixed Xcode server. You can do much better continuous integration. You can use partial UI testing. You can use distributed testing to speed up UI testing, which is usually high on the CPU. You should watch it, but nothing special here if you ask me. The thing that is really special is this. Until Xcode 8, we only have build-time issues. So you know when you press Command B, you'll get the warnings or errors depending on the issues in your code. From Xcode 8, we have the thing called runtime issues. So these are some of the most common runtime issues you can have with threads, memory, or UI. If you see in the new Xcode, we have this before, and this was not written, so now we have two things. The beauty of this is that for the runtime issues, while your app is running, you get the inline issues of your code with the explanation of what bad can happen here. I would say I like this feature really. Some of the runtime issues can be like data races, mutases, unlocking the wrong thread, and many more. And with the new Xcode, it will be all inlined, so it will kind of give you a quicker view of what's happening. Before this, you have to go to the instruments and then do all other stuff. Okay, memory. I mean, if you open the instruments, for me, you know, the text that you get from the memory leaks, it doesn't mean anything. Then you have to drill down and try to figure out what's happening. But with this thing, I mean, it looks nice. You can pause your app, and you can choose an object, and then you can see the object graph, and you can kind of have a basic idea of what will happen. Also, you have an option to save this and review later, which is, I would say, nice addition to Xcode. Of course, if it starts working as it should. This is the other topic.
It actually does. I tried this.
Yeah?
Yeah. I tried it with a huge model I have. The model has, I think it's 46 something classes. It's amazing.
Good? Okay.
It's amazing.
I will take your word for it. Another thing is runtime issues. In Xcode 7 and Xcode 6, we get this thing, you know, where you can inspect the view hierarchy from the Xcode. I never use it because it was too slow and too shitty, in my opinion. I use the reveal, which is not.
Sometimes it works.
Okay, sometimes it works, but if you want to kind of change the windows and move stuff around and change the colors in the runtime, it will not let you do that, but reveal will do. Apparently, I still didn't try this. You would get a 70% much more speed when doing when you stretch the views and kind of try different things. This is kind of nice because with reveal you have to open the other app and inject the stuff and don't inject the stuff. It's I don't know. It kind of breaks your workflow. So yeah, this looks nice. If I didn't try it, but yeah, it looks good.